Not gonna let you get turned into...
Hello!
No, stay strong, O'Brien. Not gonna let Batman down. Not gonna...
I'm on my way, buddy.
Be honest. Who are some of the characters that first come to mind whenever you think of the strongest beings in the DC universe? We wouldn't be surprised if you said Superman. He is super after all. Or maybe you're one of those hardcore Bat fans who will resoundingly say it's Batman simply because, well, he's Batman. Or perhaps you're more of a cosmic kind of guy and prefer to answer with Darkseid or the Anti-Monitor. Well, what if we told you that we've probably been ignoring one of the most resilient and criminally underrated characters in the DC pantheon? If you haven't guessed it already, we're talking about the Justice League of America's bounciest wisecracker, Plastic Man. Even more interesting, what do you think will happen if DC's Rowdy Rubberman faced off against none other than one of the most powerful shape-shifting psychics in the JLA, Martian Manhunter? That's exactly what we'll be talking about in this video today. So, place your bets, boys and girls, and find out what happens when these two metahumans meet. And if you want to see more epic superhero teamed-ups and everything in between, don't forget to hit like and smash that subscribe button to keep yourselves updated with what we here at KRTV Marvel have in store for you. Now, let's get ready to rumble. Plastic Man, to say the least, is one of the DC Pantheon's elder statesmen. Created by the iconic Jack Cole in 1941, Eel O'Brien used to be a small-time thief who got himself in a freak chemical accident. As a result, his entire physiology changed, making his entire body malleable and granting him a heaping helping of regenerative abilities. Seeing the error of his past ways, Eel O'Brien swore off crime to fight on the side of justice. From there, the superhero Plastic Man was born. Martian Manhunter has gone a long way, and we mean that both in the literal and figurative sense. Created during the tail end of the golden age of American superhero comics by scribe Joseph Samoxon and artist Joe Certa, Martian Manhunter has been around since 1955. Also known by his alter ego John Johns, MM has been a staple of the Justice League and the DC Universe at large ever since he first appeared within the pages of Detective Comics number 255. As the name suggests, Martian Manhunter is a refugee from the Red Planet who escaped to Earth after a civil war on his home planet. He's taken on many roles ever since, ranging from hard-boiled private eye to being one of the JLA's founding members. Are you wondering about his powers? Well, let's just say he's one of the few characters in the DCU that can easily, literally rip Superman's heart right out of his Kryptonian chest. Martian Manhunter has everything you'd expect from a prototypical superhero: flight, super strength, durability, the works. But what makes him such a formidable character within the DCU is how he's actually one of its most powerful telepaths. He can shapeshift, and he has the ability to phase through any solid object. Now, if only his weakness wasn't such a drag, but we'll get to that later. In the aftermath of the JLA storyline Obsidian Age, we see the world's greatest superheroes go on an epic millennia-spanning romp that ends with Plastic Man getting literally torn to molecules as he and the Justice League battled an ancient magician named Gamemne in the year 1000 BC. Fast forward 3,000 years later, and we see Firestorm at the bottom of the ocean scanning the seabed to search for Plastic Man's particles. He only gathers about 1/10 of it though, which makes him think that chances are slim. Plaz will be back once Firestorm returns to the JLA Watchtower. But, Batman being Batman, he chides Firestorm for even thinking that, noting that there's an absolute near-immortal unit hiding under Plaz's gigantic grin. Of course, he's right, because Plastic Man was able to regenerate his entire body not long after that. Once Plastic Man completely pieces himself back together, he tells the JLA about how he basically lived as a disembodied consciousness for literally thousands of years. Just imagine, what would you do if you had to go through that? Well, Plaz lets bygones be bygones and simply decides to quit being part of the League to focus on taking care of his kind. If you ask us, the JLA got off lightly, considering they left a stretchy demigod stewing at the bottom of the ocean for 3 millennia. While the whole deal with Plaz's rebirth and resignation was happening, Martian Manhunter has been stewing in his own thoughts. He thinks that the chaotic events that transpired during the Obsidian Age storyline was his fault, particularly his one weakness, fire. So, like any tough-as-nails metahuman, he tries overcoming his fear of fire through therapy. succeeds in doing this. In fact, he even gets together with his newfound life coach, Scorch, another metahuman in the DCEU, who happens to be a pyrokinetic. Yes, people, love works in mysterious ways. There's one hitch about this whole pyrophobia aversion therapy's results, though. Unbeknownst to John, each and every Martian has a fiery demigod living inside them. Its name is Furnace, and it's a creature that exists to burn the entire universe. Eons ago, the Guardians of Oa, DCU's very own self-proclaimed protectors and intergalactic bureaucrats, altered the Martian race's psyche to stop Furnace from ever manifesting. The side effect of this psychic barrier eventually led to the Martian race's aversion to fire. But now that MM's fear of it is gone, so is the barrier. In turn, Martian Manhunter inadvertently transforms into Furnace and makes quick work of the Justice League. They barely escape the rampaging ancient Martian demigod and accept that they're basically no match for Furnace's unfettered telepathy. So, what are they to do? Well, the Dark Knight isn't called the world's greatest detective for no reason. He comes up with a brilliant plan to have Furnace face off with a metahuman that can't be affected by telepathy. Got any guesses who that might be? Batman pays Plastic Man a visit. But there's one problem. The trauma that 3,000 years of dormancy on the seafloor has left the stretchy, smiling superhero with a scarred mind. He's forgotten about his whole deal as Plastic Man and made a new identity for himself, Ralph Johns, regular guy with a regular kid. Eventually though, the caped crusader convinces Ralph to remember who he really is and don the red tights. He's the only one who stands a chance against Furnace after all. If you've ever been a fan of Godzilla fighting King Kong, then you're going to love what went down between Plastic Man and Furnace. The two come face to face, with both fighters shape-shifting into kaiju-sized versions of themselves in the middle of the city. And boy, is it a feast for the eyes, as we witness Furnace turn his fingers into gigantic curved blades, while Plaz zips and zooms all over the city's skyline to envelop the burning Martian demigod. In the end, the Maven of Malleability manages to subdue Furnace with a bit of an assist from the League. Inside Furnace's mind, Martian Manhunter's psyche successfully overcomes the fiery ancient villain's influence in the Battle of Wills and defeats Furnace for good. In the aftermath, John Johns gets his body back and, if nothing else, each and every one of us fans is treated to a showcase of how ridiculously powerful Plastic Man really is under that silly grin of his. Hey, maybe it's a good idea if we always listen to Batman. We hope you loved this video, guys. Frantic for more epic superhero face-offs? Then don't forget to hit that subscribe button for the latest and greatest pop culture content from us here at KRTV Marvel. We'll see you next time.